Hello, my name is David Spies. I'm a playground safety inspector. My company is Safe Play by Design. Every year in the spring, when kids start going to the schools and playgrounds, I get a lot of frantic calls from parents. They've heard somewhere that sand is a hazardous material, and they think, they're concerned that the school playground has sand and they want to make sure their children are safe. So I have to tell them that yes, in fact, California has a law called Proposition 65 that requires the governor to publish a list of hazardous materials every year. And sand is one of those materials. The problem is that the sand that they're talking about is construction sand, typically used for things like sandblasting chambers, building houses. And this is usually man-made sand. So in other words, they crush up rocks until it pulverizes into small grains of sand. The sand has sharp edges, which is obvious. You know, it's very important. If you're going to do sandblasting, you got to have sharp edges on the sand. But they don't discriminate or don't discern the difference between playground sand and sandblasting sand. Sand that's used for playgrounds typically is river or ocean washed sand, and it has round shapes, not sharp edges. One thing that would make a difference is that if all the sand is one particle size and they're all round shapes, it's sort of like putting together a bag full of marbles. They don't compact. If you buy sand at the hardware store, it's typically called cement sand or plaster sand. And if you think about it, if it's going to make plaster or cement, it's probably going to get hard. The problem is it has a lot of different size shapes, and so the little ones fill up the spaces between the big ones, and it becomes concrete. Sand for playgrounds, the best kind is actually called lapis sand. It's not really rocks, it's ground up limestone and seashells, basically. And it's been washed so it's got round shapes. I did several articles about this for some national magazines a few years ago, and I'm amazed that it's still going around. I still get calls on that. The newest wrinkle in this is that now the Proposition 65 requires labeling. So if you go to a hardware store to buy sand that's packaged and it says playground sand, it's probably got a label on it that says this is hazardous waste according to Proposition 65, and it's warning because it can be cause reproductive damage. Really, I don't see a lot of problem with it, but I think a child would have to eat a bucket of sand to cause that kind of a problem. The biggest problem is for men who are working under these conditions, because it's not the sand particles so much as a dust that's enclosed with the sand, and it's breathed in to the lungs. Children aren't really going to get that much exposure, so I'm not terribly concerned, but you should know that that is the truth, and if you're concerned about it, you need to address it. Thank you.